Trinidad and Tobago travel adventure. Every year, during the winter holidays, we go to further corners of the world. There were the Philippines, Belize, Brazil, Barbados, and many more. In 2022, the choice fell on the less popular country, Trinidad and Tobago. We were not discouraged even by the restrictions on closing the beaches. A few days before the departure, they were loosened. The beaches were open from 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. It was probably the only country with such a sick recipe. We bought tickets in November 2021 at a very decent price of 1,700 Polish zlotych. KLM. We started our adventure from Tobago. It is the smaller of the more peaceful island inhabited mainly by the black community. We book our accommodation directly with their owner in Castara. He offered a car rental in the package, which suited us very well. A phenomenal place, beautiful place. So many places visited in different parts of the world. I can say that it was perfect. On the beach, no tourists, the possibility of integrating with the inhabitants local. Like a fairy tale. In a week, we traveled almost the entire island. We also got the Pigeon Point, a very tourist place in a truly Caribbean style. One day was enough for us. The rest of the day we spent on the jungle and waterfalls. Naturally, Trinidad and Tobago is overwhelming. Both fauna and flora are pure wealth. It's also interesting under the water. After a week, we flew from Tobago to Trinidad, the Caribbean island airlines. While it was quiet in Tobago, a total looseness, even with the restrictions, were not respected. So to Trinidad turned out to be a totally police island and probably not very safe. Nothing odd happened to us. Nothing totally but very difficulties. There are very difficulties there. Sometimes a person did not feel comfortable. Nothing terrible happened to us, but it depends on the time. A very large concentration of people. The beaches of Maracas or Las Cuevas are crowded. We were stationed near Las Cuevas, an average place, but we will remember it for the rest of our lives. Why? Well, on the second day of our stay, the doggy entangled us. She did not want to detach for anything. Her determination stole our hearts. The fourth day, we go sightseeing by car. You sit in the back seat, your head, and you see a dog running behind the car in the middle of the street. A view like an American tearjerker. We looked for the owner in the villages. No one wanted to admit her. Then we tried to encourage the locals to take her in, and nothing. The end, she will be ours. She received a collar with the leash because it can fall under the car. Protective symptoms started for everyone. The next 3 days was reading on the internet about the rules of taking a dog from Trinidad to the European Union. About all regulation, believe me, my head swelled, vaccinations, deworming stamps from the chief veterinary officer, export permit from the Minister of Industry. Lots of things at once. The day before our departure, after many phone calls, we found a clinic in Trinidad that accepted Lucy. That's how she got her name and kept her for a month. A very competent doctor gave us a list of examination restrictions, including sterilization and the price. Believe me that despite the discount, apparently for the first time he met with such freaks from the European Union who want to export a dog. Despite the discount, her stay at the clinic was more expensive than our quarters on TT. It was difficult to part with her, but we knew she was in good hands. We came back to Poland. And it started. I thought we might get over it, that we did a good deed, that now, when she's vaccinated and sterilized, it will be easier to find her home. There, none of this. My friend Huber immediately pressed for new tickets. And so after a month, we go back to TT. And since we've been flying so far, we won't be coming back after 2 days. We stayed for 10 days. During that time, Lucy was at the clinic. We didn't want to risk catching something rejuvenated. Fed up. We were helped by the local activist involved in helping animals. She bought a kennel on our behalf and organized all the stamps and permits. And probably the whole story would have a happy ending here, but nothing like that. The day of departure has come. The day that probably shortened my life by about 5 years. Checking Lucy packed in a kennel. She had to fly in the luggage hold. And the lady kindly informs me that she has information that there is no luggage in the hold air conditioning system malfunction, and the doggy cannot fly. I explained to her that this is probably a mistake because we have a dog added to the ticket and perhaps they fixed the fault. Since they knew about the transport of the animal, okay, we have to come half an hour before departure. When the plane lands, she will confirm it with the ground crew. Half an hour before departure. Unfortunately, the failure is confirmed. We cannot fly. A flight attendant approaches us and asks, "What is going on here?" You imagine, in tears, translate the whole situation. She runs to get the pilot. The crowd has become quite good. The pilot says that he can find another space for Lucy, but the cage is too big. Luckily, Hubert has a second smaller cage in the car. Hubert jumps to the parking lot. In 10 minutes, we managed to turn the second kennel. Lucy is shipped, and we sweat like rats running to the plane. We are the last to enter after many calls through the megaphone. We sit down, the adrenaline goes down, I unfold the blanket. After 40 minutes of sitting in the plane, the pilot announces that the left engine has failed and the services are unable to repair it. Fuck. Would you believe it? 350 people on board. Some were returning from Barbados. KLM has to provide accommodation for everyone. There was no end to the brawls. And my only mind is that pure Lucy is walking somewhere downstairs on the luggage belt in the cage. I go to the staff and ask if we can take care of the accommodation ourselves. No problem, we just take it bill. Okay, we are looking for accommodation. It's not straight to TT. The problem, the carnival has just started in Trinidad and Tobago. There are practically no places in hotels, and it's hard to find a place that would accept the dog. We managed to find a hostel. Dog okay, but he has to sleep outside. Well, Lucy has spent all her life on the street, so one night in a cage in front of the hotel will survive. On the second date, it turned out that KLM was sending us another plane from Amsterdam. We finally managed to fly out. Luckily, we landed in Amsterdam and then changed to Berlin. Lucy endured the journey bravely. The joy in Berlin was endless. I can say today, goodness is back. KLM paid us 1,200 euros in compensation and reimbursement of all costs, including beers for stress relief. What else to say here? I remember the maxim from my youth. No matter where you go, there you are. The secret of getting ahead is getting started. You get difficulties, good. That means you've stood up for something sometimes in your life. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. Courage is being scared to death, but saddling up anyway. To be courageous without being bold. To show trust and cheerful resignation without fatalism. That's the art of living. Nothing in life is to be feared. It is only to be understood. Now is the time to understand more, so that we may fear less. I have learned that to be with those I like is enough. So, beloved, let the beauty of what you love be what you do.